So here's what we're going to do. I feel like this is a good opportunity for me to answer some questions. Hey, some of you still have laptops open up there? So, dude, thanks. So let's go. I'm going to answer some questions. Preguntas. So what do you have about anything thus far in the past 20 weeks? What do you want to ask me? What I think about things, or wherever we're at, what we want to do. So G-Dog, and so they're going to pass mics around. Raise your hand. Dude, she's got a question right up there. No, actually, bro, stay right there, actually.
I had a question after watching the video on Afghanistan last night. And me and my roommate were actually talking about it for a really long time, and I just wanted to see your opinion on it from a sociological perspective. Do you think the world would be better off with or without organized religion? Because there's a lot of wars from it, but also it makes people really happy and gives them hope.
Would the world be better off without organized religion? If we don't have organized religion, we have other thought systems that are organized, okay? So it doesn't really matter that it's religion or it's something else or it's political ideology or social ideology. Bro, you can just stay up there. Take the top out. It doesn't really matter what it is, right? The only thing that's different with religion is that people who organize their religion around the idea that there is some kind of God, supreme being, or beings, multiple beings, because some religions are polytheistic, and that God is on their side, right? God told us to say this. God told us to act in this way. God told us to believe these things. And so when you have God on your side, you can do a lot of things that you wouldn't normally do if you didn't think God was on your side. Okay? So organizing a thought system around a God, that belief, it's a little bit more presumptuous and gives a little bit more flexibility to do both good things and bad things than if you organized your thought system around, I don't know, the golden rule. It's just like, hey, my religion is just do unto others as you want them to do unto you. That's it. There's no God, there's no this, there's no that, just do that. So that's what I think. So it's not, if the world, we didn't have religion, we'd have something else. But, yeah. And by the way, religion, people say like there are all these horrible things that are done in the name of religion or because of religion. Well, there are horrible things that are done because of a lot of things. And religion's generally never a part of it. It's just that people, they grab onto their religious belief as a justification for things that they do. Mostly because they think they need it, maybe. Yeah. Somebody else. That's a really cool question, by the way. Who else? Raise your hand. Dude. Can you get the next person ready? All right. Wait, yeah, turn the mic.
Hi, I want to get your opinion on the U.S. involvement in the world and how we try to stay out of it. Like, they want us to stay out of it, but since we got so involved in the past, or even now when we try getting non-involved, that we get drawn back in.
Well, listen. One of the reasons that the United States is the world, the superpower that we are, a global superpower, is because we have been very involved all over the world, for good and for bad. There are a lot of those of you who are really pro-U.S. and have this idea that the U.S., we're an important superpower, we do really so many good things and so on. make sure you also know some of the not so good things that we've done and that we do. So we have been very involved. And what that means then is that we're committed in so many places. You know, we have something like 400 military bases around the world. I mean, there's no country in the world that comes close to that, right? So we're committed in that way to be linked with so many different cultures and nations and so on. So we have to be involved. We're going to be involved. That's just kind of the nature of it. Yeah. And to a degree, many places in the world have come to expect and rely on that kind of involvement. Sometimes for nefarious reasons, negative reasons, and sometimes for good reasons. Did I actually answer your question? Did I evade it? All right. Next question. Hey, when you get the mic, just push the button up and that turns it on. Dude, yeah, just push it up. Here, hang on. There you are, bro.
Hello? Okay, yeah. In regard to the reading, like with the mothers who had social media with like underage children.
Oh, dude.
Like,
yeah.
Do you think there should be more precautions with that, or do you think they should be allowed to just do that with kids?
Dude, that's a disturbing reading, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the most. I really hesitated before assigning that reading, but it was so disturbing in a really weird way that I felt it's like, wow. I don't know. This is a problem, right? You want to limit the amount of government intervention, and government meaning whatever it is, like rule, regulation, intervention into the lives of people as much as possible. You want to limit that and give people the space to make moral and ethical decisions on their own and for their own families. But like what that article shows is, yeah, you got a lot of folks that you can't trust to do that, man, and you really need to step in and give some guidance. You should have her read that article, dude. That's really crazy. So anyway, yeah. By the way, one time I went down to Little Rock, Arkansas. I had some meetings down there, and I stayed at a hotel where they're doing these child beauty pageants, where children as young as like 2 years old, they dress them up, girls. It's like almost all girls, some boys, but 2 to like maybe 9, and they get dressed up and do these beauty pageants, and they compete with each other. And it's a thing, right? Maybe some of you were part of it at some point, but I was in this hotel watching all this going, as a sociologist, you could be like, damn, that is unbelievable. There's little 5-year-old girls walking around in like thong underwear kind of thing, like makeup and all sorts of stuff. It's like, damn, me being the knucklehead that I am, this is probably 10 or maybe 11 years ago, I have my phone, I'm taking video of this because I'm going like, I got to take this back to my class, you know what I mean? Like, this is amazing. It's like, holy shit. And so, but the knucklehead that I am, and this mother comes up to me, assuming I'm a creep, taking video of her little daughters, in thong underwear. I'm like, you put her in thong underwear, man. I fucking, like whatever. So, but luckily, this woman that I was with, a colleague of mine, because I thought, oh shit, and it was just one of those, I just made a really big mistake here, which was dumb because I could have just gotten on YouTube and just found a video. Why am I going? So anyway, she comes over, she says, oh, no, this is my husband. Like, we have a daughter, and we're thinking about maybe, and we think this is really cool, and we're thinking about signing her up for this, and like, it's really cool. So yeah, we were just taking some videos to remember, like, and the mother was like, oh, okay, and got me out of that one. But like, I deleted the video. I never showed it to my class. But I'm telling you, I don't think I ever even told the story. This is probably the first time I'm telling the story, so. Okay, but it wasn't as bad as that. Yeah. Okay, next question. Yeah. All right, got it, ma'am.
So for Tuesday's lecture, you were pretty adamant against the use of the word genocide. What
No,
word?
hang on. I wasn't that adamant against it, but I was like, hey, you got to be really cautious before you use that word.
You
But go
said
ahead.
not to use it.
I don't think
but
I
what-
said don't use it. I think I was just saying when you use that word, that has certain meaning. You got to understand that's a
I think it
really
does.
powerful word.
It is a very powerful
Yeah.
word, and I think, personally, I think it's a fitting word, but if it's not fitting for you in the context of that dispute, yet whatever you want
Yeah.
to call it, what
Yeah.
would you call it?
Well, first off, let me just say, in fairness, right? There are a lot of people who don't apply that word ever, and they only started to apply it in the past 30 days, or 2 months or 3 months, right? And so I'm like, hang on a second, man. Do you know what the word means? Do you know where it came from? You know how it got developed, right? And it came out of World War II, and it came out of an understanding. The only way that we can understand what the Nazis were trying to do was to exterminate, completely, absolutely exterminate an entire ancestry group of people, okay? We had no word in the English, in the global lexicon for that, and certainly not in English. And so that's where that word came out of, okay? That's not what's happening in Gaza. The word means an attempt to extinguish from the face of the earth an entire group of people. And that's not what's happening in Gaza. But I understand that it's kind of like using apartheid to discuss the political relationship between Palestinians and Jews. Apartheid in Israel. Israel is an apartheid state, right? So people make that argument. And I'm like, well, apartheid has really specific, unique meaning. And I can use it loosely. But if I really want to use that word carefully and what it means and how that really is definitive of something, then I wouldn't really use it there. But it's apartheid-like, because there are two different, to some degree, sets of laws for Palestinians or for Arabs and Jews. But it's all relative. So anyway, it's like that. But I don't think it fits for genocide in that way. However, my take on it the other day is like, don't just throw that word out there willy-nilly, man, because that is just be really careful about that. That's like one of those words. So I'm just, I'm not going to shut y'all down for saying certain things, but I'm just like, be careful about that. Yeah. All right, go ahead, man.
From everything we've learned about Gaza, it sounds like both sides are extremely polarized because of how many things they've done to each other.
Yeah.
But from the video with the history of the coups we've been involved in, it sounds like people don't necessarily agree with us intervening in these conflicts because we can make it worse for those countries sometimes.
Yeah.
But it sounds like both opposing sides from the class that we had can't necessarily come around to each other because of all the terrible things they've done to each other.
Yeah.
Do you think our intervention or any other country's intervention in that conflict would help if they were fighting for peace?
Yeah.
Because I guess if it's one thing I've learned, it seems like peace is the only option in these conflicts between both sides, and accepting that you kind of have to move on.
Yeah. Well, first off, peace isn't ever the only option in the moment, but in the end, peace is it's where it ends up. Every conflict leads to peace. Every conflict is over at some level. And it may lead to peace, meaning one group is really, another group it defines the context of power, and the other group has to live with that, But in the end, the conflict goes away. So in Israel, in Palestine, the conflict will go away at some point. Of course it will. They've not been fighting for 2,000 years. If you hear people say, "Oh, those people have been fighting over there forever," no, they haven't. They have not. Nor have they been fighting in Afghanistan forever. And so that's not how it is. So peace will come. And so that's the first important thing to say. The second thing that I want to say is that, the problem with anybody intervening wherever we intervene, if you intervene, there's something the likelihood that there's something that you're going to gain from your intervention is very high, or else you wouldn't intervene. It might be like kind of even like now in Haiti, we're trying to get the Kenyan troops, or now really the Kenyan police forces, to go to Haiti and be a police force in Haiti and calm things out a little bit. And the UN is working with the government in Kenya and so on. But there's something to gain from that, right? There always has to be. So you have to be always really kind of careful about, like, well, what are people going to get out of it? So this is like with the United States, right? We're not like people have this idea, many Americans do, that, oh, the U.S. is just this country that we do good for the world. It's like, really? Really? Have you read the history? Are you reading the history? We do some good. We do a lot of good, but we do a lot of really pretty bad things. You just got to read about it. But if you don't read about it, you wouldn't know about it. It's kind of like racism, right? Oh, black people and brown people, they don't have it so bad. Well, have you ever spent time? How much time have you spent with black Americans, like day to day, to really see the kinds of things that they go through, or Native Americans or whatever, right? You can't just sit on the outside. Women don't have it so bad. Like, what are you complaining about, women? What's the big deal? Well, I don't know. Stop and think about it. So anyway. Did I answer your question, bro? It's hard to answer. These are tough questions. Somebody else? Yes. Dude, can you go up on that side? Yeah, right there. I want to have, who has the next question after this? I want to go fast. I don't want to wait. Go ahead. Yeah.
Hi. I just had a question about the article that you sent about mom influencers, or like kid influencers.
Yeah, that's what
the
he
account
asked about. Yeah,
that's like ran by moms. So I had a concern and question about, like, why would the court, or why wouldn't there be like any type of regulations about this act, about like moms running kids' Instagram, or like any type of social media? And why do you think and even though we see like a lot of pedophiles like watching it, why do you think there's not a lot of like regulations about it?
Well, the reason there aren't regulations about it is because we just haven't gotten there yet. Yeah, we haven't gotten there yet, right? But we will get there. There's going to be regulations, because that's the nature of it. That's how it is. Like once a few things start to happen, then we step in and we say, hey, we got to do something here. And then some people will say we shouldn't have any regulations, and other people will say we should, and then we're going to go back and forth, and we're going to figure it out.
You look like you
Yeah.
know it.
Yeah, bro. Is there another?
I have a mic.
Go ahead, man.
Me or sorry. Okay. So my question to you is sort of regarding, like, it was touched upon in like the article about like a Korean adoption thing. I guess it regards like loneliness, in a sense, like seeing that loneliness is like such like I think people are paying more attention to how like detrimental of an impact it has on people's lives. But in an era like with social media and how rampant that is, and how easy it is to connect to one another, what are your thoughts on like loneliness being such an epidemic with that, and can social media do anything to change that?
Dude, that's a really interesting question. Because the irony is that we're more connected today than we ever have been at any point in human history, right? And yet there's some sense of the connections that we have aren't necessarily enough for us, which is like what we saw in COVID, right? You all remember what COVID was like? What a better thing. The school is closed down. You don't have to go to school. You get to stay home. most of your schools can't figure out how to teach online, so most of the time you're just playing video games or whatever you want to do. And like, you know, you got this freedom, like, oh my God, what could be better for any kid than that? And yet it's lonely, it's difficult. And I think that we haven't figured out as a species, as a people, we haven't figured out how to organize our lives sociologically to get past that. So I don't know. I think we will eventually, or we'll just go off the deep end as a society. Yeah, that's a cool question. I like that. Yeah, bro.
I had a. Oh, is it me?
All right. Wait, go ahead, bro. Or yeah, yes, ma'am.
Do you think your generation owes our generation an apology, or vice versa?
Oh shit! For what? Wait, for what? For what? What are the top 3 things for which we owe you an apology? I can think of about 30, but give me your top 3.
The housing crisis.
Okay.
A lot of our parents' lack of emotional capacity while we were raised.
Yeah.
And technology feeding us too much social media or tech or something like that.
Yeah. And that's really not about you all. You all are just consuming, right? Look, the thing that our generation, this really, to a great degree, started in the 80s when we just deregulated. We just said, let's just let people live how they want to live and let businesses be businesses in the way they want to do that. Let's educate the way people want to educate. Just let people go. It's a free-for-all, right? I mean, much more like that. This is really the very beginning of the 80s, of like the Reagan years, so to speak, right? But we didn't. No one knew that it's like a very slow process of unfolding. You don't realize the implications of that until you get there. So all 3 things that you said really stem from that, including the housing crisis, including jobs and the polarization of rich and poor, and jobs going around the world. So here, this generation, but you know, we cut global poverty by 70% because we took the money that would be going to you all and we shared it with, meaning the world, shared it with people in other nations that didn't have access to that money. So in that sense, it's like, yeah. So you see, it's a really complex thing. But all in all, like, yeah, the boomer world, like, you guys have this thing about boomers. Mind you, I'm barely a boomer. I was born in 1960, so technically I'm just on the cusp of it. But yeah, I think in a way we owe you an apology. Yeah, it's kind of in another 6 minutes. Who? That's okay. Go ahead. Who's got? Yeah, bro. Can you get mics up here? Dude. Nah, dude, I can't. You can't hear you on the stream, dude. Hurry up. And can you get another mic to the next question? Oh, yeah, bro, go ahead.
I had a question on what you feel about like the growing gender divide in like political ideology, like especially in this generation. I have like a cool like visualization, like a graph I saw recently.
Yeah. Of
just like a massive difference between like, I don't know if the computer can see.
No, go ahead. Yeah, we won't be able to see it.
Yeah, of a massive like divide in like political ideology between just like men and women, especially in this generation.
Yeah.
What do you think that's caused by, or like how it's come to be?
Dude, I don't know. It's a really cool question. These are really great questions. I don't know. I think it's probably telling that we're starting to see the divide isn't stark. It's not like black and white, but it's a darker gray, lighter gray kind of thing, right? So we're starting to see that a little bit. I don't really know. I think it's probably worth asking yourselves that, like, you know, what's going on here? I mean, what's going on even with your generation? I'll think about it though. I'll get back to you on that. Yeah. Yeah, bro.
Hi. I had a question about like when speakers come to Penn State. Like I think last year there was someone who was affiliated with the Proud Boys who came, and this year there was someone who was spreading like very anti-transgender rhetoric. So I was wondering what you think about to what extent is that freedom of speech, and organizations should be allowed to invite speakers that align with their views for anyone who wants to be there to go? And to what extent do you think it's Penn State's job to make sure that all students feel safe on campus and are only allowing speakers that will keep the community feeling safe to come to campus?
So here, first, let me not respond to the use of the word safe, okay? Because there's never been a speaker on campus for which somebody's life was in danger. You know, I mean, really. The idea is just don't show up. Like when the Proud Boys thing debacle happened, what was unsafe, nothing was unsafe. It was like there was nothing happening. No one was even in the room. Nobody would have cared. It would have been like crickets happening. Nobody would have cared. 15 people would have showed up. But then the left, the so-called, the more wokest left, came out, and then things suddenly got unsafe. And it's like, oh, shit. Well, it wasn't unsafe till that happened, right? But look, the Penn State is following the letter of the law, which is First Amendment. So you have to give, if student groups want to bring speakers on campus that align with their ideology, then you follow the procedures to do that, and you do that. And if people don't like that, what you should do is, the last thing you should do is publicize it, because in my class, I think the Proud Boys thing, I asked my class, like, how many, before it really blew up, I said, how many you people know who this person is and would want to go out and see them? 2 hands went up in the air, okay? And then I said, then 2 weeks later, when it all blew up and people were like, oh my God, and I said, hey, how many people want to go to this event next Wednesday? It's like half the class. And then I started asking, why do you want to go? Oh, because we want to see the spectacle. It's like, okay, crickets, man, crickets. So, yes, any group who wants to bring someone, bring them. You know, yeah, of course, Penn State has to allow that. We have to do that. That's the nature of it. Yeah, bro.
Okay, real quick. This is going to be lighter than the other ones also.
Dude, light is best, man.
All right, after watching Mullets in Australia,
Dude,
what is
you want to grow
your...
one, don't you?
What?
You want to grow one, don't you?
Oh, well, I mean, I got the short one going, kind of, but no, I'm not all the way there yet. I'm not going to win a competition by any means, but what's your opinion on Mullies, and have you ever rocked one?
Dude, listen, man. I almost rocked one because, remember, I was a rock and roller in the late 70s and early 80s. I mean, I had some high clogs, high heel, what do you call them? Like deck, whatever they are. Dude, my heels were this big. I was a drummer. I'd get up on stage. I had to take my shoes off and then drum. When I got up, I'd put them back on and go. I had these tight silk pants, white silk. I had pink silk. I was killing it. And I almost did the mullet, but instead I shaved my head. I would just shave my head like a punk rocker, even though I wasn't a punk rocker. And but yeah, dude, I always wanted to, but now I'm like, I don't have enough hair to do it. You're right. I could be one of those old half bald guy mullet dudes. All right, we have one more question. Dude. Now, how about this? All right, go ahead. Ask him. Let him go first.
Yeah, I want to know your opinion on like political parties and these labels that we have attributed to people like right and left, or Democrat or Republican and stuff, and how we just categorize people based on the ideologies of groups instead of their own ideologies as individuals and their opinions.
Well, the only way to make statements about large groupings of people is that we put us in categories. Like, so I use terms like this, white people. I don't know what does that even mean if I say white people? Black people. I just said earlier, I was like, hey, we'll walk in the shoes of black people in the United States. Who am I talking about? You know, the millionaires, or, you know, black people in, I don't know, like Center City, Cleveland. Like, who am I talking about? So, but we do that, okay? So we do it with politics as well. We try to just create certain groupings of people, but it's really unfortunate because most people just follow a certain label that they're given. So most Democrats would not vote for Biden. If they had a range of choices, they would not vote for Biden. Most Republicans, if they had a range of choices, wouldn't be choosing Trump. If you had a range of choices, people would be all over the field. But we just go with that. And that's just what happens. That's how life is. It's painful. It's annoying. But I'm a sociologist. I do it as a profession. I'm a professional generalizer. That's my job. I make generalizations. And I need categories of people. All right, final thing. Are we good?